Hey everyone, my name is Khaled Saad, if you don't know me, and I am a software engineer. Today we are going to talk about inheritance and abstraction and how to use them with a stateful widget. So if you are not using stateful widget in Flutter, and you might ask me who doesn't, so my answer to that will be simple. If you are using getx package or any other packages similar to getx, then you are not using a stateful widget, and this video might not be for you. So if you are using stateful, stay with us to hear what we are going to say. So simply, this is a simple class signing class that extend a stateful widget and then create my state. This is an initialized variables that I use here. This is my UI. Simply, I just separated my widgets into stateless widgets and then call them here. So I have the logo text fields. This text field consists of registration text field widget, which is consists of widgets and UIs, stuff like that. And here is my functions that I am using in the UI here, like login data. Sorry, this is a variable. Visibility change and on change. There is another function like navigate. So these are my functions that I am using up there, and this is my private functions that I am using in the normal functions. Of course, if I change this to private like this, nothing will happen because I am inside the same class and I am using this function inside the same class, but I need to modify it up there, but I will not. So today we are going to discuss how to make our code more cleaner, how to just have this in our class and simply work as it work now. We don't have to say, like for example, controller dot navigate or any other thing. We will just use navigate, and here is like visibility change and on change. If you are going to see here, you are going to say global controller dot navigate to. This function I am using a global controller. Let me wait till the IDE. I don't know what happened to the IDE. Anyway, let's continue. So the global controller, if we go there, you might think you need to add more functions that your whole app gonna use. This is the global controller that might have a lot of functions like snack bar. I think snack bar is a very important function. Navigate to this uses the contrast to navigate to another screen, so I keep it in the global controller. And there is an HTTP post request, maybe HTTP get request. We are not going to use HTTP post request in this episode, so let's get back to the sign in screen. To make it simple, I'm making the global controller, and I am using it down there here, and I will show you when we turn this class to abstract, what is the difference and how we can use it, and if it actually make it better to make it abstract or use it as it is now. So simply, that's how I organize the structure of the file system in the project. So simply we are going to the sign in. Here we have the sign in control class, which will extend the state of the sign in. If we do it that way, we have to import this sign in. So if we do it that way, it will say create one missing override. This is the widget, the build function, which we need to override because it's not initialized in the state sign in class. So to prevent that and to add more functions that we want to use, I will just delete it and then adding here just abstract. If we add abstract to this sign-in class, then we don't need to initialize any kind of functions that is abstracted in the state sign-in class. okay, and I will simply just use Control X here, and then go to the signing control and Control V here. Of course, there's a lot of things that is not defined, so I am going to define them now here. And we see here we need to import another. So I guess everything works fine now. So in order to, as you can see here, there is an errors. These errors because it's not defined. So in order to remove these errors and in order to use these functions and these variables as it's supposed to work and as an implemented function and implemented variables, we will just extend the signing control. So basically what we are doing here, sign-in state is extending signing control with all its new functions, not just the functions that I created, because signing control extends the state sign-in. So basically we are extending the whole function that Google made, which is init state, set state, any kind of function. We are using this set state normally as we use it in a normal state that extends a stateful widget. So we are using normal set state, and we are using normal context as well. So what I am want to say is that sign-in function now have the normal Google functions and also have my own created functions, like for example on change function. So it will treat it as it's implemented. That's what I want to say. You are now treating your own function and you are creating your own function as an implemented function. This makes the code a lot more clear. Imagine you are just opening any kind of file. You are opening a sign-in.dart file, and you are just seeing this a few lines of code. It's just 48 to 52 line of code, and if you want to go to any function and read its functionality and what's it doing, you will just simply press Control and go to navigate and press the left click on the mouse, and then it will simply takes to the navigate function and show you the code of the navigate function. So apparently it works as it should be working, and nothing changes. If I'm writing here a password, I will say here Khalid, and everything works fine. So there is no errors, and it acts like its own function. I'm just separating them to make the code more cleaner and use an MVC design pattern. So let's continue. There is like another thing I want to say. I wanted to say that here there is a global controller .navigate to, which takes context and the destination that I want to navigate to. This is simple. So what I'm going to do here, I will remove the global controller from here, and of course it will show us an error, but there is another one. I think there is another one. Anyway, I think there is another one, so I will just delete this. Okay, there is none here, so okay. All what I'm going to do here, if I have a global controller that has functions that I want to implement in the signing control, I also want to implement these functions, these global functions that I am using all over the app. You can use it here in the sign-in control, you can use it in another stateful widget, in another stateful control, anywhere. So I am going to extend the state sign-in and say with. This allows me to inherit more than one class. So I'm going to say with and I'm going to go to global, globe control and abstracted controls, and I will take this class name and I will paste it here. So as you can see, the error gone and there is no error. So what I want to do also, I want to make the number of parameters here less than 2. I just want it to be 1. I don't want to parse context every time I want to use it in a function. So simply what I'm going to do here, I'm going to use another concept, the abstracted function. What is the difference between abstracted functions and normal function? Normal function usually has function name and function parameters and the function body. This is the function body. So abstracted function doesn't have the body. You define the body within the children classes that inherit the parent class. So basically, of course, if I made it get, I will say, let's say get context. This function will allow me to get context of the screen. As you can see here, convert to block. I can't define a function, abstract function, in a normal class. I can't. As you can see, there is an error. So what I am going to do, I will convert this class to abstract class. Simple as that. So what we are going to do here, we are going to define a function, this how to define an abstract function in Dart. So I'm going to define an abstract function here to get the context of the screen that I am in. Sorry, we are not, this is a new context that we are creating, so I should put it here. And also this scaffold. Okay, so basically what we are going to do, we need now, as you can see here, it says, yeah, I will just also delete this parameter as well. So can't be instantiated here, yeah. This is also will happen an error, and I have to handle it because I have a sign up state as well, and this can't be done as well. So we don't have the navigator, so I will just comment it for now because it's not important. I will just fix this error later. So now it says there is one missing override. What is this one missing override? That get context. What I'm going to do, simply I will just return context. So this function, when I am using this function in the global controller in this navigate to function, I am saying get context. So where does it exactly get this context? It gets it from this overridden function. But of course it will be nonsense if I define this override function here in this screen or this file, because simply what I want to do is I want this file has only the UI code, not only the UI code, the enhanced UI code that I made, to be clear as possible. So what I am going to do is I will say Control X, because in abstracted classes I can override functions if I want to, but if I didn't want to, then it will not give me an error like this. So I will simply go to sign in control and override the get context. Now the error is gone. Why is that? Because I defined it, this sign in state extends the sign in controller. which is normal class, so I had to override the function, but it's overridden here in the sign-in control, so I don't need to override it again. And simply, if you want to use the init state, I can normally use it here and write whatever I want to write. I will just say print this is from init state, and if I just made how to restart, so as you can see, this is from init state, so this function fires normally in my class, sign-in class, and this function is overridden as well, and everything as I said is fine. And if you don't have an account, I don't know if it's clear here, so if you don't have an account, then go to the sign up screen, let's say. So I am going to navigate to sign up screen with this function, and as you can see, oh, it works fine. This is error because I just commented this line of code here, so I will fix it right now. And I wanted to show you another example to get the idea more clearly. I will just get string. So this get string will I will just print it here. Print I will just print get string, and then we have the error here, so I have to override the get string. I will override it here and say just return this is from sign in, okay, semicolon, and we have to reformat the code. Okay, so now to prove that this is only from the sign in, and if I override it elsewhere in another class, it will work as different overridden function. I will show you the same thing in the sign up screen. This is like, as the previous example, it's a sign up state which extends a sign up state with initialized variables and with functions. So I am going to remove this from here, and I will go to the sign up, and I will go to the controller here and take this. I will just control X and sign up control. I will control V. Of course it will say I will just extend this, extends. I will take this. Of course it will say import, and I will take the initialized variables here as well. It will say also import. Yeah, of course this must be abstract. Yeah, I think everything is clear. So there is a method called navigate to. This is because we didn't import the with global controller. Of course I will import it, and now we have add acquired. Yeah, this is not exist. Yeah, so everything is fine, and here we need to extend the sign up here, and I think most of the errors now are gone except for one or for two errors, which is the create methods. I will just control X here, and then we'll do it as return a context, return context, and here I'm going to say return sign up. This is from sign up screen. Okay, to see the difference, screen, to see the difference if it's really overridden from this. So I'm just going to do a hot restart, and as you can see, I will just remove this kind of imports that I don't need now. So as you can see, the code is more clean, more organized, and simple to read with function and parameters that are best. And as you can see, if I don't know what happened, but anyway, yeah, okay. So as you can see here, if I go to the sign up, it will say this is from the sign in, because I was in the sign in screen. And if I click it again to go to the sign in screen, this will say this is from the sign up screen, and this is from init state. This is from init state, actually from the sign in screen when I initialized the init state. There is one thing that you need to be careful about, because this is very important. Let's say I have the sign-in control here, and I will close all the other tabs to the right, and I have the init state overridden here, and I print this is from the init state, and I go to the sign-in screen and said I will override the init state again and print this is from init state number 2. So I will just hot restart it to see the result, and as you can see, they are both fired because I override them twice. And as you can see, this function right here happened first, and then this is from init state number 2 fired after that. So as you can see, the two functions fired. This fires first, and then this fires first. This fired second. Sorry. So you have to be careful for be careful, and don't override the functions twice. And I think it's nonsense to override this function here, as I overridden it in the signing control. And to make the code more clear and more readable, I defined everything in the signing control, and there is a global controller that I am using for functions that I am using globally, not just in the signing control. As you saw, I use it in the signing control, and I use it also in the sign up control. So that's why I put these functions in the global controller. And this is a concept after all, and you can use it as much as you want with your own imagination, and you are free to use it as much as you won't, but I think the idea of how to use the abstraction and inheritance, the idea itself, I think you understand it very well. And if you have any kind of questions on how to improve your code and or anything you didn't understand from this video, you could ask me directly on the YouTube, on the comments. I will leave my link of Facebook if you want to ask me about anything. If you want to ask me on my LinkedIn, I will leave my links down below. So also, if you like the video, give it thumb up, and if you want more on how to write clean code, then just tell me and I will be happy to make more videos on how to write clean code.